Hey, thank y'all for joining me. This is Kiana with This One Olive Productions. I'm coming to you all today is I am trying to rebrand my business and my life using kingdom principles. If you've been on my channel before, you know that I do like to read the Bible. I like to reference the Bible for everything that I do. I'm just in a time in my life where I feel like it's some major rebranding need to be taking place. I need to reintroduce my life and my business in a whole new aspect and where God is taking me to. The verse that we're going to start with is 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 22. 1 Samuel 15, verse 22. And it reads, "But Samuel replied, 'What is more pleasing to the Lord, your burnt offerings and sacrifices, or your obedience to his voice?' Listen, obedience is better than sacrifice, and submission is better than offering the fat of rams." I went and looked up the definition on Google using Oxford and the definition of obedience. And what I got from that definition, it says that obedience is compliance with an order, request, or allow or submission to another's authority. I reference my concordance, it says that obedience is the response God seeks from us because it shows that he is first in our lives and above all others. I looked up the definition of sacrifice. Sacrifice is an act of slaughtering an animal or a person or surrendering a possession as an offering to God. Basically, giving up something you enjoy for something else, or letting go of something you are attracted to or attached to that you must let go of. How I'm going to do this, basically how I'm applying this to rebranding my business and how I'm going to break this down. I got to turn my business back over to God. I started my business, it was because God had spoken to me. I've been in a place where I felt like I was still praying and still chasing after God, but it was a point in my life where it seems like he wasn't completely in the business. I need to bring him back in the business. He's in my life, but I need to bring him back in the business. Things were going on in my life and in the business that were affecting my life. And I just feel like I need to draw closer to God. I was watching another video and it was saying how, rebrand as much as you need. I've been in business for 6 years and I haven't rebranded my business. And I'm hoping that me doing these, searching the kingdom promises, kingdom principles, will help me to bring God back into my business and back into my life fully, where I can hear him speaking to me more clearly and just using me to do things to build his kingdom. I'm a single mother and I love the Lord. I love speaking with him. I love talking to him, and I can testify of how great he's been in my life. I want to break his word down and I want to apply it to my life. First, we have to pay God. In my business, I came across like financial difficulties. The business is making money, but the money is constantly running out. It's no room for savings. It's no savings. I'm just making money, making boatloads of money, but I can't hold on to the money. I'm digging deep into the Bible, trying to figure out where I am going wrong. And some of the stuff I already knew, I just wasn't applying it like I should have been. I came up with the 3 principles just from research, listening to other people. You must pay God first. You must pay yourself second. And then you invest back into your business. How do we know what we need to pay God? This is something that we all have to do if we want to be successful in our business. If we go back to Deuteronomy 8:18, it says, "It is he that gives us the power to be successful." Pay God first. And how is that in the Bible? Leviticus 27:30 reads, "1/10 of the produce of the land, whether grain from the fields or fruit from the trees, belongs to the Lord, and it must be set apart to him as holy." It represents 10%. Malachi 3 verse 10 says, "Bring all the tithes into the storehouse, so there will be enough food in my temple. If you do, says the Lord of heaven's armies, I will open the windows of heaven for you. I will pour out a blessing so great you won't have enough room to take it in. Then God says, try it. Put me to the test. Now, what God is basically doing is giving us an opportunity to prove how faithful He is to His promises to us. I wasn't paying God first. I had this notion, and I definitely was not paying myself first. Okay, and I wasn't reinvesting back in my business. If you're an entrepreneur in business, you know that sometimes the money is flowing in. My mind was just telling me, pay the bills first, pay your employees, make sure you pay all of them. I was so worried about paying everything else besides paying God and besides paying myself. Now, God clearly tells us right there in that verses that we must pay Him. We must pay Him a 10%. If you read those chapters, you'll see that He said a 10% of everything, whether good or bad, you need to give it to Him. It says count off every 10 and give it to Him before you do anything else. And that's going to be set aside as holy unto God. We must pay God first because He says in His word that He'll open up the windows of heaven and He'll pour us out. I was thinking I had to pay these bills first. That way the business could continue to run. I was thinking I had to pay those things first. But the Bible clearly says pay God first. Give Him a 10% of what you bring in. A tenth of what you bring in belongs to the Lord. Paying yourself second. You are the one working the business. You are the one working the business. You're putting all the sweat, the blood, and the tears into this business. If you're not rewarding yourself for the things that you're doing for this business, it becomes useless. It becomes pointless. It feels like you're just running in circles trying to make everyone else happy and you're not doing anything for yourself. I was thinking, I gotta sacrifice the things that I want so I can make sure that everybody else is happy. I wasn't thinking about how it was damaging me and making me feel like I wasn't producing enough. When yet and still I was producing. I was just sacrificing and I wasn't being obedient. God was telling me over and over and over in my business that I need to be obedient. Kiana, give your 10%, pay yourself. He was telling me all of these things, but I thought I had to sacrifice in order to be successful. But the Bible clearly says that obedience is better than sacrifice. Now, once I have paid myself second, third, you reinvest into your business. You can't grow if you don't reinvest back into your business. All of these things matter when you're trying to grow a business. You have to pay God. You got to give Him what's due to Him because He is the one who has given you the ability to be able to work this business. He is the one who gave you the idea to have this business. He is the one that gave you the power to be successful according to Deuteronomy 8. He is the one. So you have to give Him what's His first. You have to honor God by giving Him that 10% of whatever you bring in. That's sowing seeds, that's giving finances. You have to honor God with your 10%. Pay yourself. It's pointless. If you're doing all this working and you making all of this money, but you're not taking care of home. You're sacrificing home, especially if you have a family. God says clearly in His word, if you do this, if you give me 10%, He will open up the heavens, where the windows of heaven, where you won't have room enough to receive the things that He's given to you. I can't stress you enough. It's the three principles. You have to pay God first, pay yourself second, then reinvest into your business. Then after that, your bills will get paid. If you're honoring God with what He's given you, just a little recap of what we're talking about. Pay yourself. I have found myself sacrificing so much trying to make sure that everyone else was happy and I wasn't taking care of myself. I was running myself raggedy. It was causing health issues. It was causing issues at home. It was sending me into states of depression because I was thinking to myself, how is it possible to make all this money, but you don't have nothing for yourself? I was working the system all wrong. I needed to have enough to invest in my business. Those bills are going to get paid because I'm starting with God. So I thank you all for joining me. If it's an entrepreneur out there that's struggling in their business and their finances, God says be obedient. We pay him first, then reward ourselves, then invest in our business. He's going to keep supplying us with the things that we need. If we follow those three principles, we'll see that life will begin to change. Our mindset will begin to change. What we value will begin to change because we are aligning ourselves with Jesus in the Word and doing the things His way. Okay? The Bible is always giving us a business plan. It gives us a business plan in every chapter that you read in the Bible. It's giving us a business plan of how we can be successful. It's up to us to follow the model. I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode.